Today on the Topping Show, Starbucks fires woman for being white and now must pay her millions. Trump promises to purge the deep state. Shiloh Jackson attacks the Second Amendment. More businesses flee San Francisco. Stellantis is still debating Tesla Chargers. Oracle breaking records for their stock. Kava successfully launches their IPO. Temu wants to challenge Amazon.com. And JP Morgan settles Epstein victims for $270 million. All that and much, much more on The Topping Show. Thank you for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can use a little assistance. You can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Other interesting culture news, which drives right into this, you have one of the largest malls in San Francisco leaving as well. And guess what? They actually had a little bit more temerity, a little bit more guts there. They said specifically why they're leaving. Now, the Westfield company, they're going to stop their mall mortgage payments at the San Francisco location and giving it back to the lender. Now, they specifically blame crime for the falling sales and the Nordstrom closure. Nordstrom being one of the best, most premier clothing, I was going to say convenience store. It's a convenient place to buy clothing. It's a higher end clothing store, great customer experience, and unfortunately they had to leave San Francisco a few months ago because again, crime is through the roof and they're not doing anything to stop it. Now, Westfield, they noted that the firm is going to default on their $558 million loan, handing it back to the lender, which also means they're giving up any equity they might have had in that. You saw this, this might sound familiar, like deja vu. It is. The Hilton Hotel in San Francisco did the same thing with a holding company that was working in that location because they're losing so much money and they know no one's going to buy it. So the mall is going to stay in effect open for now, but malls are a fascinating thing where this is just going to tumble worse and worse and worse. It's not going to get better anytime soon. Malls are perhaps the most prime example of the domino or the ripple effect. If you look at why malls succeed, traditionally, they would actually get sponsorships by, think about it, the good old classics, JCPenney, you got Sears, you got Nordstrom, you have an anchor store. Now, an anchor store sounds exactly what it would like it sounds. They would tell the development company, hey, we will be your largest tenant, we will be the anchor, the big thing that brings people there. Once they get there, then you get, that is a good advertising thing. You go to all the smaller stores, like, remember back in the day, it used to be Spencer's, Hot Topic, Forever 23 or 21, Aeropostale, all that kind of stuff. And they say, hey, you got a lot of these other stores coming, you should come on as well. So you get a nice good domino effect where all of them are coming because those logos are there. Customers like those logos. They like their brands. They're going to go there. Now, you're having the inverse these days where more and more and more of these stores are leaving. They're becoming ghost towns. And the compelling thing for a user or a end user or the customer is you get lots of options. You have many stores in a small, compact area. And they're just leaving more and more and more. Some might think this phenomenon is isolated to San Francisco, but they might think it's actually not just isolated. They might think it's all over the U.S. Contrary to that, Westfield actually has some data on, no, it is San Francisco that's this bad. Now, Westfield is a holding company where they actually manage hotels across the United States, and they noted that specifically, the San Francisco's occupancy level had dropped to 55%. Almost half the stores are gone. That's white space. That's empty, ugly-looking areas for consumers to see a part of a mall, all those little stores, to see emptiness. Not only has that's got to have a mental effect and aesthetic effect, is not good for the mall. It just looks bad, and of course fiscally it's bad as well because there's less companies paying the holding company because of course they make money by renting out spaces, yada yada yada. Now, when Westfield talked about their national average for their occupancy rates, those are currently at about 93%. So again, malls aren't dead. It just depends on the location. But in San Francisco, occupancy is at 55%. Nationwide, 93%. That's a huge delta. That's, again, I'm not a mathematician, but let's just say it's about half, or it's twice as worse as the rest of the United States. Now, culturally speaking, will they turn this around? How do they? No, they're leaning right into this. I'm talking about the people who are voting, people who are in San Francisco. There are drugs. There are so many drugs rampant in the street. You have to avoid the needles. It's the city where they actually had to make an app called the Poop app, where there's so many people defecating in the city. They invented an app that showed you all the areas so you could try to avoid it. That's how far the culture has crumbled in that city, and all these businesses are leaving in droves because again, even I believe Whole Foods, they filed 583 police reports in about 13 months. There's that much crime, and all their carts are stolen as well. And again, they left the city. The most progressive or liberal company, Whole Foods, left San Francisco, the pinnacle of that ideology, that political sphere. Will they change their mind? Will they do anything to fix it? Time shall tell, but that culture needs an overhauling like no tomorrow because, again, it's not safe for the people to live there. There's a lot of people who are getting hurt, and there's a lot of negative ripple effects of people. It's not a great situation, but they are choosing it. So time shall tell to see if they make a more prudent decision. Thank you everyone again for taking the time to tune in today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps the channel grow and develop. I've noticed that every time there's more comments, there's a lot more views. I greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone to stay safe and fight the good fight.